All right, so we're going to look at example 3 in our notes. And from yesterday, we talked about the AC method. We also talked about methods where we will factor out the greatest common factor. Like what do all the terms in the polynomial have in common? So if you look at example 3, we can ask that first question again. What does all three of these terms have in common? And that's actually the first question you're always going to ask when you factor. In this case, you should notice that you can divide out at least a 2 from everything. So actually, the first thing we're going to do in this one is divide out a 2. So we're going to take this, we're going to divide out a 2 from everything. We're going to put that 2 off to the side again. And we're going to rewrite our polynomial as 2x squared plus 9x minus 5. So we've already started the factoring process. Now, anytime you see a polynomial and you're going to start to factor it, if there's something that you can pull out beforehand, you're always going to do that process. Okay. Now the next step is going to be what we did yesterday, which we called the AC method. So now we're just going to look at this reduced trinomial, the green part, and we're going to try to factor that. Well, the only way to factor that is to attempt to, factor by grouping. So what we're going to do from yesterday is we're going to put our x down on the paper. Remember from yesterday, we're going to put on the top of the x, we're going to put a times c. So if you look at our problem here, a is going to be this 2 now. A is now 2. So a is 2, b is 9, and c is negative 5. So on the top, we're going to put AC. Well, that is going to be 2 times negative 5, so that's negative 10. On the bottom, we're going to put b, which is 9. So remember, in order to solve this, we have to think about what multiplies up to the top and adds up to the bottom. And sometimes this can take a little time. You might have to think about all the combinations. In this case, it's not too bad because it's going to be 10 times 1 is 10. It needs to be negative, so we got to make one of these negative. And if you look, since it has to add up to 9, we're going to make the 1 negative. So 10 times negative 1 is negative 10, and 10 plus negative 1 is 9. So now we're going to go ahead and use this to split the middle and write it as 4 terms, and then factor by grouping. So we're going to take this. This is going to become, we're going to plug that into this 9x. So we're going to take, now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to remember the fact that I have a 2 that I have already factored out of this problem. So I'm not going to keep writing that down in every step here. But what I'm going to do is just now take this trinomial and I'm going to do what we did yesterday. So 2x squared plus, now I'm going to go ahead and fit that in, 10x plus negative 1x, and then minus 5. So we take that middle, we plug in basically what we call splitting the middle. 9x becomes 10x plus negative 1x. This creates 4 terms, and then we can factor by grouping. So we've done this a lot of times, but we're going to group these 2 terms, and we're going to factor out the greatest common factor from each spot. So in this one, we can take out a 2x from this small group. This one right here, we can't really take anything else. We're going to take out a negative 1 though, because that will change our things to positive. So we go ahead and rewrite this, taking out a 2x, taking out a negative 1, and if we did things correctly, we should have the exact same thing inside the parentheses. So this is x plus 5, and this one is also x plus 5. So that will allow us to factor it completely. So then our first factor is going to be 2x, and this is a plus negative 1. So we're just going to say 2x minus 1. And then Of course, the one that we have that's the same is x plus 5. So that'll become the second factor. Now remember, we're done here, but remember that 2 that I factored out from the very first part of the problem. We factored out a 2 that was still there. I just didn't keep writing it in every little step. So I'm still going to put that 2 out here as part of my factoring. So this is the complete factorization, is going to be this 2 times 2x minus 1 times x plus 5. And that is completely factored in that problem. So you may get problems where you need to first factor something out before you can do this little AC method.